Today I'm going to be reviewing the Meta Quest 3. The Meta Quest 3 is the latest VR headset from Meta, who have promised significant upgrades from their last VR headset, the Meta Quest 2. My expectations for the Meta Quest 3 were sky high, considering the Meta Quest 2 is one of my favourite VR headsets of all time and consistently has taken the top spot since I bought it back in 2020. Coming in at £479.99 for the 128GB version and £619.99 for the 512GB version, this device is pretty expensive, but is it worth the cost? One of the main selling points here is the fact that it has the ability to take advantage of mixed reality, otherwise known as augmented reality, because the headset has coloured cameras for pass-through purposes. Keep in mind that you can pick up the Meta Quest 2 headset for just £299.99. This puts the Meta Quest 3 headset at a major £180 above its predecessor. One of the first things I want to talk about is the comfort of the Meta Quest 3 itself, because for me, this is the most important thing when using a VR headset. If a headset isn't completely comfortable, then you're going to struggle to use it for long periods of time, which kind of defeats the purpose. The headset itself, similar to the Meta Quest 2, is made from a white plastic, which keeps it relatively lightweight, and you actually get a Y strap on this headset to make for better support when wearing it. The strap is relatively breathable, but it does use Velcro to fasten, meaning if you've got long hair, this might be an issue for you. I did find my hair getting caught in it sometimes, which is just quite annoying. In terms of the build, the Meta Quest 3 is a fully front-loaded headset, meaning that all of the components that make it run are in the goggles themselves. This means that you can feel the weight all in the front of your head, and it does put some pressure on your face, which is a little bit frustrating, and it can become a little bit uncomfortable after long play sessions. It also made my face quite sweaty, but that might not happen to everyone. You can get your hands on a Meta Quest 3 Elite strap, but I didn't use this when reviewing the headset. This is just like a halo style device similar to the PSVR 2 to help distribute the weight more evenly. One thing I was really excited about was the fact that this headset was meant to be 40% slimmer than the previous one. This is something that Meta had in their trailer and stated at the Meta Connect 2023 showcase. But despite coming in slimmer, the headset actually weighs almost exactly the same. When I first put it on, I noticed that it feels exactly the same as the Meta Quest 2, so I actually put it to the test and weighed it, and the Meta Quest 2 is only 20 grams heavier than the Meta Quest 3. You can definitely feel this weight when wearing it for extended periods of time. My neck started to hurt because there's a big, massive weight at the front of my head. You get a USB-C port on the side of the headset for charging purposes, and you can use this to connect your headset to a PC if you want to play games through Meta Link. You also get a power button and a volume button. Something I was quite happy about was the fact that you also get a small scroll wheel in order to adjust the distance of your lenses inside the headset whilst you're wearing it, instead of having to constantly take it off, adjust, put it back on, and repeat. Good job on that one, Meta. That was much needed. Getting into the features of the Meta Quest 3, one of the first things you'll notice when you take it out of the box is the massive cameras on the front. You get dual 4-megapixel cameras on the front, as well as a new depth sensor. This allows for seamless pass-through as your surroundings are rendered in full color, which makes for a much easier time when setting up boundaries and play spaces. And one of the main advantages of having these features is, of course, the mixed reality component. The depth sensor allows you to scan your room, and it really does utilize everything around you in specific games and experiences. The new eye panels featured on the Meta Quest 3 are higher resolution than that of the Meta Quest 2 and the PSVR 2. However, I still don't think it's comparable to the latter. The PSVR 2 features OLED displays, which look absolutely fantastic. You get amazing colors and really true blacks, which make for a really immersive experience. However, the Meta Quest 3 still features LCD displays, which just feels a bit outdated now. Like, yeah, there are a lot of pixels on the screen, but what does that matter if the colors just don't look very true to life? You can find the full specification list on the screen now. A great selling point of the Meta headsets for me is the fact that you're able to plug them into your PC and play games off of there. You can also do this wirelessly through third-party apps like Virtual Desktop, like I did. So it still kind of feels like you're playing on a standalone headset, even when you're playing games from your PC. Onto the controllers, the new design of the Meta Quest 3 controllers excludes that standard halo that you might be used to in other VR controllers, such as the Meta Quest 2 and the PSVR 2. And honestly, I couldn't be happier. Those rings were a real pain in the backside. You get true touch haptics on these controllers, which is way more sophisticated than the rumble that was on the Meta Quest 2 controllers. You actually get different levels of feedback based on what you're doing in game, instead of just a random rumble no matter what is going on. But one major downside of the controllers for me, they still use AA batteries. The controllers come with batteries in the box, but I actually had to go out and buy more batteries so that I'm not completely stuck when they die. Get with the times, Meta. Make your controllers rechargeable out of the box. The headset also comes with built-in speakers on the VR goggles, something which was missing from the PSVR 2. This means that you don't need need to have any external cables or extra gaming headsets if you don't want to. But the ability is still there because the headset is completely compatible with Bluetooth. Onto the performance of the headset. I'm not gonna lie, I have been a bit disappointed with the performance of the Meta Quest 3. I was expecting a lot more for a headset which comes in at almost £500. Aside from the new mixed reality feature and coloured pass-through, it feels like there just aren't that many significant improvements from the Meta Quest 2. The new Gen 2 Snapdragon chip just isn't really doing it for me. Since the headset is entirely backwards compatible with the full Meta Quest 2 library, I was sure to play games that I often frequent on my old headset, such as Beat Saber and Zenith. Despite none of these games being particularly graphically intensive, it didn't feel like there was any difference from playing them on my Meta Quest 2 in terms of comfort or performance. The controllers are meant to have improved precision tracking, and to test this I played Beat Saber and Sega's Samba de Amigo Party Central. I have hundreds and hundreds of hours in Beat Saber and it honestly felt exactly the same as playing it on my Meta Quest 2. However, a positive with the controllers is the fact that you can ditch them altogether, thanks to the much improved hand tracking on the Meta Quest 3 system. Since this is a new feature, it's not really implemented in a lot of games yet, and you're only able to really use hand tracking for navigating through your menus. Hopefully this is subject to change as more titles become available and actually take advantage of hand tracking. Setting up mixed reality was super simple. You just have to look around the room and the depth sensor scans everything that's going on around you, including all the walls and the furniture. It then really utilizes everything that's going on around you to make the mixed reality experiences feel super cool. However, these experiences just didn't really play out for me the way that I thought they were going to. Yeah, they were a ton of fun, but they didn't look fantastic, and I think this is down to a combination of the cameras not being high quality enough, the graphics chip not being able to render your surroundings as well as it should be able to, and the fact that the displays just aren't very high quality. Something is just lacking. When looking at my surroundings through the headset, it kind of feels like I've been transported back in time and I'm looking at really old pictures of my living room that were taken on a digital camera back in the early 2000s. Also, the fact that the displays aren't OLED again means that the colours aren't very true to life and they feel a bit dimmed down. When stepping into the first Encounters minigame, which comes pre-installed on all headsets, I'll admit I had an absolutely fantastic time and it was tons of fun, but it just didn't look as cool as I thought it was going to. The spaceship that landed in the middle of my living room was super high quality, and then my actual living room was not, so it kind of just looked a bit out of place and strange. However, the ability to navigate menus while still having your surroundings there was actually much more helpful than I thought it was going to be. As someone who gets very motion sick, this help keeps me quite centered, and yes, I do get the irony of being a VR fanatic and getting really motion sick, genuinely one of the biggest banes of my existence. But having the choice between having my living room around me or having one of Meta's virtual environments was absolutely fantastic and really helped. So in conclusion, I think the Meta Quest 3 is a decent headset. It allows you to take advantage of mixed reality and virtual reality, but for me it just doesn't feel like significant enough of an upgrade over the Meta Quest 2, which comes in at £180 cheaper. The mixed reality just doesn't look good enough to justify the price tag for the minute, and there aren't any significant improvements in terms of comfort. It still feels like I'm wearing the exact same headset as before. There aren't too many games that are taking advantage of the new Snapdragon Gen 2 processor for the minute, meaning it's difficult to understand whether or not this is an upgrade. Right now, playing the games that I used to play on my Meta Quest 2 look exactly the same, so hopefully as more titles come out we'll really be able to see the power of the Meta Quest 3 shine. For now, I'm gonna have to give the Meta Quest 3 a 3.5 out of 5. It's a decent headset with some pretty good features, but it's quite pricey, and I just feel like I'll stick with my Meta Quest 2 for now. We'll be seeing how the Meta Quest 3 stacks up against the Meta Quest 2 and the PSVR 2 headsets in the near future, so be sure to subscribe if you want to see that video. Leave a like on this video if you want to see more hardware content from us here at Mirror Gaming in the future. This has been Jasmine, the hardware expert on the Mirror Gaming team, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.